Welcome to Truck You Podcast. My name is Sebastian. This podcast is all about trucking. We love diesel engines, semi-trucks, being on the road, and freedom. So let's go. Welcome to the podcast, Rick.
Thank you.
First time?
First time, yes, sir.
We didn't do it. No, yeah, that is first time.
First
I thought
time.
you had this amazing video that everybody's watching.
No, we did a short video out there. Yeah, absolutely. On
With the scammy
block.
block.
Yes,
That was a interesting purchase for that person.
absolutely.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah.
You
Going on vacation
I am.
next week, right?
Absolutely. I'm gonna go to Greece, take some R&R, and hopefully have some good weather out there.
Yeah, I know.
And good food.
Greece is going to be, 2 weeks.
First time, so
2 weeks in Greece, man, you're going to have some good weather. So, I wanted to talk today about a specific topic because you're the head of maintenance at ERA. So I wanted to talk to you about how has it been with supply chain issues, with parts, with post-COVID, again, issues with supply chain, and then parts shortages.
Absolutely.
And so we're just going to chit-chat for a little bit about that and see if we can, what could we talk to truckers about, maybe how to go around or avoid certain things.
Okay.
I mean, we've been pretty creative with sourcing parts, and maybe, I don't know if there are any tips that you could give out at the end of the podcast, right?
Absolutely.
How to work with shops. You've been running the shop for how long now?
Almost. It's gonna be 2 years. It'll be 2 years in November.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah.
Oh my God.
Time flies, right?
That is crazy. So, wow. That is crazy. I haven't thought about it since, 2 years in November?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Look how many things we went through together. Huh?
Absolutely.
All right. So, supply chain issues, is there such thing, you think?
Absolutely. I mean, the supply chain, usually, everybody started seeing it 2018, 2019, but right post-pandemic, right when the pandemic hit, it came full force. And the problem with the supply chain is that, well, nobody was paying attention to it because it's logistics, and a lot of people don't pay attention to logistics. Most people go to dealerships or go to a store and you expect to get the part.
Everything is there. Why would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It showed up, right?
Yes. So once that hit and everybody's like, well, what's going on? What's happening out there? Well, there's a shortage of drivers.
Yeah. It started with that, and then now we're in the reverse almost, because the spot market's pretty
correct. But you're still way behind.
Yeah.
I mean, the industry's still way behind. I mean,
overall, I would say.
Overall,
yes.
I mean, just looking at articles from the American Transport Association, they're saying we're shorted 80,000 drivers right now.
And I've heard many different numbers thrown around. Regardless of what that is, we're still shorted of about a big number of truckers that want to be OTR and live in a truck. That's one of the most important things that I've addressed in the past is we're in a different market because there's a lot of drivers in Chicago.
Correct.
And there's a lot of also home daily work. We can't, I want to make sure that we're talking about the entire U.S. is the U.S. shortage is, hey, well, nobody's interested in going OTR, and it's a harder.
It is, but I don't think
right
it's that. It's just that they're behind. Everybody's behind. OEs are behind in making trucks. They have to put out a certain amount of trucks every year, and if they don't do it, they're behind already. So once that happens, everybody starts, struggling.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing there. The problem with supply chain is, with the pandemic coming in, is everybody started working from home, but you still had the same businesses doing well at the beginning.
Sometimes some businesses even do better than better than they did.
The problem is your workers are only half staffed.
Yeah.
So big warehouses are not stocking the way they used to. You know, so it leads to shortages.
Well, look at BNSF issues, right? Like the rails have employee issues nonstop. Now
Absolutely.
CSX just announced that they actually had a hiring. That's your beautiful phone always ringing in meetings, shaking the whole table. But they just said that they had a pretty successful, period of hiring. So hopefully they think it's gonna help a little
Yes.
bit. But what I was gonna start with is some of the parts that we've been ordering for our fleet and what have we seen and how it affected our repairs and our maintenance schedules, right? Because
Correct.
so let's start with some of the Volvo parts. What would you say, looking at the fleet of Volvos that we have, the maintenance that we do, what were some of the things that you experienced shortages and how long it took sometimes to get them?
The most important thing on the Volvos is like I said, the emissions products. AHI modules, NOx sensors, DPFs, DOCs.
So let's slow down a little bit. Let's talk about specific delays, right?
Yeah.
So anything specifically that
All those items were specifically delayed because of the manufacturers that were creating them.
Yeah.
They were backlogged already.
Mhm.
Because everything that's coming out from the manufacturers is being made for assembly lines.
Yeah.
So the product is not actually even made. It's sent to the dealers, OEs, to the dealerships, and they make it on the assembly line and install it. So when an average repair shop or anybody out there wants to get the part, well, guess what? Who has precedence over it?
Yeah.
It's the big dealers.
Yeah.
And that's what causes delays on everything. The good thing is
plus the dealers are delayed. Look at the trucks lined up not having chips, or not only dealer, it's also in cars, but trucks have also same
correct.
issues, right?
Absolutely.
ECM issues. So let's go back to specific parts. Like let's say the NOx sensors, right?
NOx sensors.
Was there any delays on those?
Yes.
Because I remember a time where I think it was early on. Are they available right now? Is everything?
They are available right now.
So I remember you pre-ordered a lot of them, and then we hit like a back order for 3 weeks.
Correct.
Because you ordered all of them.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We ordered a lot of them, which helped us tremendously. Plus, you ordered. We had the aftermarket ones. We figured out. I think I talked about it on the podcast with Jose at some point that. The aftermarket were causing so many issues, and then you went out and ordered OEs.
From the manufacturers, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but that was one. What about? Because there was one recently that we did that was delayed for a long time. Which one was that? For that, for our 03. What was the hold up on that?
The hold up on that is the valves on the head. Little components like that are not costly, but it costs a lot to build, to wait for the part to get the head built. Rebuilt.
Was that the delay that the valves were they were non-available?
They were non-available, absolutely.
Wow, so we waited for 3 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just little valves. They're probably $18. They're not expensive, but it's because the manufacturer was overlogged on the dealerships that we have to wait.
Yeah. Okay, so what else was there that we worked on? Because on the gliders, I don't think there's anything from Detroit that was anything there that we were waiting for.
No, on the gliders, no, not too much because they're older parts. Most of them do stock it still.
Yeah.
It's
plus the demand isn't as high as
correct. Yeah, absolutely. The demand is not that high. Absolutely. But no, not really. It was mostly
all the Volvo stuff, right?
Volvo stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's because a lot of dealerships didn't even pre-plan it. They thought they were so used to the warehouse stocking everything, and that's the problem. The warehouse used to, for the Chicagoland area, there's one big one. We're in Chicago. There's a huge one here that used to stock, I would say, 200 million in parts, and probably now are stocking 10 million in parts, and they're still servicing all the dealerships that they were servicing before. So what's that going to cost? Delays.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be delayed. But you have to work around it. You have to find out.
Well, don't give your secrets out.
No, I don't. I never do.
But what I was gonna I'm gonna keep digging on some of the specific parts because I want to look at it from a owner's driver's perspective. I come to a shop and there's an issue with something, and I don't and why is there an issue with some of the parts, right? So what else has you, other than cleaning our DPFs, everything, have you had any backup on DPFs and DOCs? Have you seen any delays on that?
No, it changed actually. The delays were probably last year when it was when the pandemic was really strong.
Yeah.
I think it's because of a lack of employees that were out on the field.
Yeah, which was a different reason of having those parts not come. Yeah.
A lot of people were working from home, so they're doing orders from home, but there's only one order picker, at the dealership. So he's going to take his time.
Oh yeah, and mistakes with orders.
Absolutely.
We should touch on that a little bit.
And that's the next big thing. Yeah.
When we order something, what are the obstacles that you see when ordering parts for a shop of our size? What do you see is happening? What's the biggest obstacle or mistakes that happen?
The mistakes that happen is if the good thing is we have catalogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to use all of them.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing is when you call and order a part and the person on the other side misinterprets what you said and gets the wrong part.
Yeah.
So
due to what? Lack of training? Lack of training,
absolutely. Right now, the industry has just put, I hate to say it, but just put bodies out there. You have, you don't have that parts professional attitude that what I had when I was out there in the dealerships. Unfortunately, you have just bodies out there, and they're just going to go by protocol. You give the VIN number, they look up the part, they tell you they have it or they don't have it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Where before a parts professional will take a next step and say, okay, I don't have it in this number, but I'm going to cross it over because it's the same product as the other side. And a lot of them don't do it.
So that results in getting the wrong parts. We waste a lot of time. Running back and forth costs a lot.
Absolutely.
Then correcting the mistakes, it's your time.
Correct.
That's something that we've been, would you say from pre-pandemic to, or not even pre-pandemic, because you literally joined me during that first year.
Correct.
So I would say, have you seen within that 2-year period a difference? Is it worse with those mistakes?
It's worse, absolutely. It's a lot worse. The good thing is, like I said, we have the e-catalogs that we're able to look up our own parts.
Yeah.
And then we order them. So if we get them wrong, it's on us.
Yeah, of course.
And 9 out of 10 times, or 10 out of 10 times, I can tell you we don't get the wrong part because we know what we want. And it, like I tell our other crew, our other employees, if we have techs on hand on, if you look it up, bring up the picture, and he points at it and says, "Yep, this is exactly what I need." Then that's exactly what you're going to get, and you're going to get the right part the first time.
Yeah.
Where when you're talking to somebody at the dealership, most likely you're going to get the wrong thing.
Okay. And I wanted to talk about those things to kind of reveal of our operation from the back as far as maintenance. What are some of the obstacles? And getting the wrong parts is one. Having on the other side not enough trained staff to be able to come up with solutions to whatever we need, to whatever parts we need. But would you say wait times? Like when not only we're waiting for parts delayed, but actually getting them within dealers.
Absolutely.
Dealers,
yes. Right? That's the other thing. The wait times. Either going and picking it up, you're still gonna have to wait because there's less staff, right? So there's less staff. There's a lot more customers out there trying to get parts, so you're gonna wait a lot. The average wait, I would say, is an hour in every dealership.
Wow.
Just to walk in.
So if you make a mistake or they make a mistake, you got to go and wait another hour.
Yes.
Yeah. Even will calls.
Or days.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Will call is
absolutely,
not,
absolutely. Even in will call, absolutely. And.
Could you want to explain real quick for someone that doesn't know the difference between will call and the regular?
Well, will call is you already called it in.
Yeah.
The part's already waiting for you in will call. You just show up. You go to will call instead of going to the regular counter. And saying, hey, I need this part, I'm looking it up, and then you have to start from scratch. In will call, you already called the product in, you know what you're going to get,
Yeah.
It's in Wolcott. You pick it up and then you leave. And it's still a wait time though. It's still about a half hour.
It's still a wait time. So that's what I was going to ask
But it's
you.
a little. It's a lot faster than walking in and asking
But
for one part.
it's still a delay because I mean, there's so many Wilco customers that it's
Yes.
pretty much the same thing there, right?
Yes.
Because it's all the shops and
Yes.
everybody else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So that's the second one. It's time to actually pitch the parts. So what are some of the things that owners, in your opinion, could do or should watch out for, or not, or could do to help out, right? Or to get their truck done faster.
I would say start a relationship with a repair shop. You know,
Mhm.
get a good repair shop with you that you trust. And you go there because most repair shops now have the capability of looking up their parts, you know, and a lot of them out there in the Chicagoland area, you know, do look up their parts. And if they don't, they usually call me, you know, just to make sure that they are getting the correct part. In any catalog, I'm talking about International, Volvo, Freightliner, or Peterbilt, either one. I would say Peterbilt's probably I don't want to say the worst, but it's not the easiest to look up parts. So you could be waiting days for something that they have on the shelf.
Okay, so how about develop a good relationship with the shop. That's you always recommend that to owners, right? But is there anything that you already have that shop and the shop now has issues? Like what? Because what I'm trying to say is what I would do in their shoes. I would just go get the part for the shop.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean? And I've done that in the past when I didn't own a shop because I wanted to move it faster.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And I've done it the same thing
Yeah.
for our owner operators and all that. You know, they tell me, I tell them, hey, this is the part number, this is what you need. Go ahead and pick it up.
Yeah,
You
and they
know?
do, and they some understand it, some don't. And I always tell everybody, if you want to speed it up and help us out,
Absolutely.
go get that part.
Go get that part.
'Cause you're going to already be there, and that's what I oftentimes did. When I had a truck at a shop, the first thing next day in the morning, I bolt to the dealership to stand in line at first to get the part.
Correct.
And bring it to the shop so we can get it done.
Absolutely.
Right? That can save you a full day of waiting.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And you already have the part, you know, so
Yeah.
you're one step ahead of everybody. You know, you're bringing it in. You just tell the repair shop, hey, this is what I need. I already have it, and
Yeah.
so it's a done deal. You know, it's come in, we get you in, repair it,
Yeah.
and you got the part.
What else is there that owners could do working with shops, do you think? Is there anything else that
You know, just get the relationship with dealerships. You know, get that. Even though you're an owner operator, you can still have a good relationship with a dealership and
Mhm.
find yourself a good parts guy out there.
how does that help me?
It helps the owner operator.
Yeah, I'm the owner operator.
You're the
so
owner
I'm-
operator.
I'm-
So it helps you in a way that they get to know you, so you're not waiting in line that long.
Mhm.
You know, because you have that relationship with them.
Mhm.
They know you're gonna, you know, you're coming to that place only. You're not buying somewhere else, and they trust you, and you trust them, and that relationship grows. People don't realize that, but it goes a long way with that relationship. Just a simple thank you, you know, goes a long way.
Yeah,
You know?
I support that 100%. I mean, I learned that from my dad. He always had good relationships with everybody, and I respect. It's a skill that compounds over time. right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, I agree with you. But it's a little harder, I would say, with dealerships because of scale. And what I mean by that is, you know, they're so busy as a single owner op is usually one truck operation, and then, you know, you want to just be persistent in developing that relationship because you're a lot smaller as far as a customer base, right?
Correct.
As of somebody like us with a shop or a lot higher volume, you can get that assistance, and you know, they also have limited time. But you're right, it is just at least, you know, people that work there, right, know
Correct.
you make friends and develop those relationships. But
It's the same thing at the repair shop. You know, you get to know that relationship. You get to know them, and they're going to go a lot further for you. You know, they're going to trust you the same way you trust them to repair your truck, and it's easier for them to get the part than you are. So if you tell the repair shop, hey, just get it from me, I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring
I'm
my
gonna go
truck
home.
in.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go home. Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
and we
I've seen
will.
that a lot.
Most likely we will get it for you.
We will, and we do that for, well, we did, and just because not right now, as of right now, we're
Correct.
servicing our fleet. But
Mm-hmm.
the biggest observation and learning curve from that was that customers not understanding how long it takes to get parts,
Absolutely.
right? And that's why I always stress, like, hey, if you really need that downtime shortened by half, like, help out get the parts, because we would have to hire as a shop runners nonstop, and we have somebody that does that.
Correct.
And it's still it's still not enough.
Yeah.
You know what
I
mean?
would go
because
one.
of the delays.
If I
because
was
of
an
the-
owner operator, I'll go one step further and pay for the part right there. Let me know what's going to cost you, so it doesn't rest on the repair shop,
True. Yeah.
and that'll save time and money because we already have the money for the part for him,
Yeah.
and
It's already ordered, bought, and then all you
so we just wait for you to
100%.
come back in and say, hey, what day can we put you in, and that's it. But I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend the owner operator to pay for the part up front.
Yeah. What is something that, as a shop, post COVID, with the way we look at maintenance, what was this? What is the hardest thing you think of coming out of COVID? We touched the parts already, the supply chain issues, the parts. Is there anything else that you want to share that was like something that it would be valuable, maybe for owner ops or anybody listening, really, like how that felt when we were coming out of that post-COVID world? And you joined us right at the beginning too, so you helped me literally really kind of rebuild, put that puzzle together, and then it's a continuous, obviously, work to fine tune it. But what do you
Absolutely.
remember? What stuck with you the most when we?
The most thing is the waste of parts that we had,
Yeah.
that we didn't need.
The overstock that was not
Overstock
needed.
that was not
Just
moving.
That cash sitting. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had to send it back,
Cores, I remember. Cores were a big issue too.
Absolutely, and that's one of the biggest issues on repair shops. They think it's just a dirty part, but it's actually money.
Yeah.
And if you don't return it, you're losing.
Yeah.
You're just keeping it there, and sometimes the dealers won't accept it back after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
The good thing is I have good relationship with all dealerships out there,
Yeah.
and I'm able still to return all those cores back, whether I'm past the deadline or not.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. But I would say the number one thing is all the waste we had in parts. We cleaned all that up now, and then going forward, we're monitoring everything on that. So we don't have that wasted parts. $60,000 just sitting there for no reason is not
Yeah.
good for anybody.
Wasn't it also part of it was also because when mistakes happen,
Yes.
you bring that part and like we can't do anything. It just sits. Well, we might use it later,
Yes.
right, for something. It's like no.
And it's always we might use it later. We
Yeah.
might use it, and you know which part you're gonna use later, and you know which
Yeah.
part you're not gonna use later.
Mhm.
If it's a part that you don't sell that often or the dealership doesn't sell, it's not gonna move.
Yeah.
It's gonna be harder to return because it's probably a non-stocking part to begin with, and that's where you got to be careful when you order non-stocking parts. They'll tell you on the ticket, you can't return this, so you have to be very careful. Do you want it? And it's actually the correct part in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big one, I remember. And then I would say, to me, the most important one that was, it's still happening, was implementing full bay.
Oh, absolutely.
And we love full bay, and it's just such a it's a great tool, which we should do a full bay review.
Yes.
And we were on their podcast last year, so if you guys want to check that, I think they still have that podcast. So very good podcast, just diesel shops and diesel industry. But the biggest struggle with that was having now techs actually use the tool properly, right?
Utilizing the
train,
tool, absolutely.
You have to train the techs to be able to use it properly.
Correct.
To get you what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Giving
You got to get the techs to like it, that it works for them, not against them. You have to make them believe that it's a good tool, not a bad tool. Most people,
unless they are not interested in efficiency.
absolutely. You know, absolutely.
You know,
And
I'll say it straight. It's like, well, if
I think it's
not
in most
everybody's
cases, it's everybody gets scared a little bit, right? Because
because you know,
they're
it's an
watching me.
ego thing. Well, not even watching. But
no, that's how they think. We're watching.
Well,
you know?
but regardless of, like, think about it. Regardless of watching, you're watching someone because you have to watch the hours of how you're performing a job. It's more about, hey, I think I'm a good tech.
Correct.
Well, can you do that job within the time that it's supposed to be done?
Correct.
You know,
absolutely. Everybody needs to be watched a little bit, I think, because you might, forget to do.
I wouldn't call it watching. I would call it measuring.
Measuring,
because
correct.
if we're not measuring properly, then the shop's losing.
Yes,
right? We have to be efficient in that matter. And
yes,
that's
you're
why
absolutely right. It's more measuring.
It's all about measuring. Everything, right? Right.
It's all about data. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why building the right team is,
it's crucial. Absolutely.
Having the right attitude on the floor and the right team that can work together, which I think right now we have a great team working together. And I would say that was the biggest to me with Full Bay, because even though it's a great product, or maybe it isn't. No, I'm kidding. We still had issues with it. It's a mess. We should do a separate episode about Full Bay because it's such an interesting. I don't want to say anything bad about them. They're really. I would recommend it. Would you recommend Full Bay to people?
I would. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but there are just hiccups. Obviously, happens.
Yes.
And I think it was a lot more fault on our end implementing it, not knowing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the support is great. We had a great support. So, I would say, to me, that was the most important one. Is there anything else that, as an owner op, I would like to prep for?
Absolutely. You always want to do your preventive maintenance on your truck, right? You always want to make sure that you're up to code, your DOT standards, and that's every day. That's how you don't want your truck down, because when your truck is down, you're not making any money.
Yeah.
So you always want your truck ready to go.
Yeah.
And in order to do that is you got to stay on top of your truck.
Yeah.
Listen for those bells and whistles that are sounding off, and you're like, oh, well, I'll fix it next week, or I'll fix it. That's what preventive maintenance is all about. It's to prevent that big downtime. You can fix the small issue before. The problem with most people is they see emissions, right? So let's take emissions for a second. When emissions comes on and they say, oh, it's after treatment. No, it's not after treatment. It's already past the engine side. Everything comes from the engine side to the after treatment, not from the after treatment to the engine. Mm-hmm. And that's what most people don't understand, is that everything fails from the front, not from the back. Once it fails in the back, it already failed in the front.
It could, but at the same time, you have a lot of electrical issues on after treatment.
Absolutely.
That has nothing to do with the engine.
No,
right?
most of the time it's fuel issues.
Yeah.
That causes everything.
If you have after treatment issues, exhaust issues per se, but electronic, it's which a lot of issues with after treatment is electronic issues.
Yes.
Is caused by emissions by itself.
Yes.
It has nothing.
The number one reason for that is because most owner operators don't adjust their valves. They don't look at their head.
True, but Rick, I'm talking about literally 100% only electrical issues. Your engine's working properly, and you have literally just issues with emissions because you have knock sensors go out, your harnesses are going out, and then that's causing issues by itself. So
Correct.
yes, I agree with you. Emissions as a emission, let's say DOCs, DPF, and SCRs gets messed up because of the front.
Yes.
But you have a big chunk of electric issues.
Oh, absolutely.
With after treatment.
Not to say anything, but a lot of the issues when they first came out with the after treatment, they were put in the wrong areas, right? They weren't made for weather, like Chicago's weather that we get winter. They were just made for hot weather, So whoever made those products didn't actually make them correctly or put them in the right areas.
I like how we went from supply chain issues to emissions, and that only tells you how big of a problem that is. And we should talk about just emissions for a second from our shop point of view. but I don't even want to go to that rabbit hole because
Okay.
I want to bring it home today. And it's a big topic. We'll get back to it for sure. But what I want to do is stress, go get help the parts. As an owner, that's what we can help. As a person, as a guy that owns the truck, just go get that part for the shop. It's going to really speed things up and get it ahead of time. Don't wait for the parts runner to get it.
And make
in the
those
morning.
good relationships with the dealerships.
Yeah.
And the shops.
That's going to help because you go show up, say, you're hanging out. You're going to be recognized. People will hopefully remember you if you're a nice person.
Absolutely. So. Yes.
All right. Let's do any. What else? I would say comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe, share, and we're going to talk to you soon.
Okay.